Great day, everyone. Welcome to Believers Building Businesses. I'm your host, Craig Clutts. I am so excited to have with me today, Jason Heinritz. Thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. Thanks for having me.
Just so that everybody online knows a little bit about you, I want to share that today's guest is a man on a mission to wake up Jesus people and ignite bold faith in this generation. I love that. Husband, father, entrepreneur, ministry leader, spent the last 20 years leading one of the top teams in direct sales. But what makes Jason different is the turn his life took when he realized he was building his own kingdom and chose instead to build God's. That's impactful right there, Jason. I love that. Since then, he's launched the Wake Up Jesus People movement, authored a powerful new book, created the 44 challenge, an intense spiritual and personal growth journey that's already transforming lives. Jason and his wife Abby recently moved from Wisconsin to Washington to help plant a church, Life Church Northwest, which is super exciting. He's passionate about helping people establish deep, meaningful rhythms with Jesus. You're about to hear from a man who's not just talking about revival, he's living it. Welcome to the show, Jason. Anything else you'd like to add?
Thanks, Craig. I'm a big Packer fan, and yeah, life is good over here.
Awesome. Love that. I had to squeeze that in there.
Yep.
Our audience are a bunch of brothers and sisters in Christ that are either feeling called to start a business or are just planning to start a business, or maybe they've already started a business. But specifically for those that are about to launch or just now launching, what advice might you have to share with them?
Yeah, I would say pray about it. Pray about it and make sure it aligns with your morals, your faith, all that. It's if God's put it on your heart, it's there for a reason. And we need more
Yes.
entrepreneurs, more leaders in business, in the marketplace to be that Jesus with skin on while they're leading their
That's good.
their people,
Right.
So yeah, I would say go for it. You've nothing to lose, and everyone's scared when they start. Do your due diligence. Make sure you have enough money saved up. Make sure you have the right people in place. Make sure you've read the books and done all the pre-work. But when you're ready to roll, just rely on God, pray a ton. Make sure you're leading yourself right, and then go for it. And worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, you learned a lot, and God prepared you for that next venture, that next step that he has for you. Maybe it wasn't this step. Maybe this was just a stepping stone for what he really has in store for you.
That's good. I love that. Whenever I was first launching En Gedi Construction in early 2022, I spoke with my pastor that's in charge of our marketplace ministry. The first thing he tells me is, "You're handicapped, Craig." I'm thinking, well, I'm a disabled veteran, but I wouldn't consider myself handicapped. What are you talking about? But his point was, I had a day job. And so I was retiring from the Navy. I took a day job. That was the transition God blessed me with. Like, I know it was his hand. And he's like, when I started my company, I didn't have anything else. So it got kicked off a lot faster because I was motivated. But I love that you're adding in that preparation, because not everybody has to just start right now. For Pastor Mike, that was the right thing. For me, it was actually 3 years I was at the county doing my business at night and the weekends until God said, "No, this is your time. Launch, step out, do this full time."
That's great.
One of the passions that you have is setting boundaries. I love your discussion about the sacred time, the rhythms, the habits. What would you say for our listeners? What kind of boundaries should they put in place so that they can do exactly what you talk about in your program, which is thrive instead of just having to survive?
Yeah, I'd say you want to set boundaries in a few different places. Now, for me, building a direct sales organization in my 20s, and it was fun. You were grinding. You were in the office
You
all
were
the
20.
time. Yeah, all the time. Pretty much 7:30 a.m. till 7:30 p.m. I was in the office. I loved it. It was my drug. I craved it. And sometimes, as an entrepreneur, that is what you have to do.
True.
But not at the sacrifice of your faith and your family and your health. And so it's like, be ready to work hard and grind. If you're about to launch a business, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take some extra hours, but you really have to set boundaries, not only with friends and family and your personal life, but also your workers. And so when it comes to workers specifically, I'll start there. I'd say what I've had to do, and again, I'm a recovering workaholic. I'm not an expert at
I
this.
love
I'm
that.
still working through some of this, but we used to have people call me all the time and rely on me to help close deals and close sales. And so I really started encouraging them from the start. Hey, you got it. You can't mess it up. Everything is fixable. And I was okay missing a couple of the little sales I could have closed for my peace and my joy and my happiness, knowing that I didn't have to be on call 24/7, right? Sometimes you open up to be in business for yourself, but really you're kind of a slave to your job, and you're actually
Right.
working more hours, and
Right.
you're more stressed than if you'd have been working for someone else. So be ready to lead, but also to set boundaries. So my people know that I basically work between 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. They know that from the beginning. So
Good.
if they have a question or they need help, they know to go to other people. They know there's other people in charge. Maybe they're not as experienced as I am or as good as I am, but can they just answer 99% of the simple questions? Sure. And then
Right.
have some kind of hierarchy where you have people who can help, and then you can step in if need be. We also use WhatsApp chats. So instead of having
Oh,
them
yes.
be on call or text all the time, myself and my staff were in WhatsApp chats. We have group chats. So it allows us to coach each individual sales rep, and I can see in the chat what my staff is saying. So I can also train my staff on how they're
Mm,
training our reps. And
that's
it also
great.
allows my us to get to them whenever it works for us. I
Right.
also love that I can send voice memos and
Mm,
just organize my time with just utilizing WhatsApp, and it also separates everything being on my phone to the WhatsApp. So I have to open it and
right.
then get into work mode. So that's
That's
helped.
good.
And then something with personal boundaries, getting into that a little bit, is just making sure I have alarms that go off. I have things that help me stay on track. So I know when I'm picking up the boys from school or a certain time, it's my time to actually stop. I need to shut my laptop down, go downstairs, hang out, or be at home. And
Right.
so have that discussion with those close people in your life, like, when do you want me home for dinner? Do I need to pick up or drop off kids? What are my responsibilities in this marriage, in this relationship, in this dynamic, so I can be there and there's not missed expectations, so I can focus on the business when I'm focused, and then focus on family and faith when I'm not at work, because that's what's hard
Right.
too as an entrepreneur, is it's always on your mind. It's really hard to shut off. I struggled with numbing myself with weed gummies and alcohol at
Mm,
night to like
wow.
relax and turn it off,
Right.
but that's not healthy either. So I'm just a few years cleansed of that. And so being
Wow.
able to
That's
have those
amazing.
boundaries so you don't need to resort to those things or feel like you're burnt out, because we get into some Sabbath stuff and a sacred start stuff too. Like, we want to work from rest. We want to be our best selves for our people and for our
That's right.
organization. If we're running on fumes, we aren't going to be our best selves for really anyone.
That's good. I love that. And it's going to change in different seasons, right?
Totally.
27 years in the Navy, I've got all kinds of different stories, but each season was different. And so when my kids were your kids' age, when they were toddlers, I would come home. I'd make sure that I left work at the right time, come home, play with the kids, have dinner with the family. But after dinner, then it was time to do my homework, right?
Yep.
As the
Yep.
kids got older, they had homework. So
Hmm.
now we were all doing homework at the table together
Yep.
because that's how I was making sure that I could be home at a reasonable time to enjoy the
Hmm.
family, was to bring a few things home to do paperwork wise later. And it worked. And it was a great synergy,
Yeah.
but it required those habits. It required those triggers. It required those boundaries that you're talking
Hmm.
about. I love that.
And when you're in a season with young kids like I am, I mean, they're going to bed at 8 o'clock ish, whatever may be in
Right.
your life. So you can still do some extra things at night, or,
That's right.
you also have the weekends kind of. For me, I really challenge, based on what season you are, if you're starting a business, obviously there's going to be some extra work involved. Might need to work some Saturdays, but definitely if you're a kingdom builder, if you're a Jesus person, Sunday Sabbath is huge. So
Yes.
you need to work from rest, and to have that offset, or that day to reset, I should say, that's going to help you show up to the rest of the week. And think of not Sunday ending your week and, oh my gosh, it's been so stressful, I'm so tired, I need to rest. No, think of it as that's day one of your week to
Mm,
set you up with rest,
that's
some
good.
planning, some like mental preparation to go into the week and crush it. Because I would really love to have God's blessing on 6
Yes.
days a week than none of his blessing on 7 days. He's pretty hardcore in it, in the Bible when it comes to the Sabbath. And he talks about all the time about his people not listening to him about the Sabbath, and him,
Right.
getting mad. So I think it's real important that we are obeying God, and as we're building our business, that we are honoring him and keeping God a priority.
Yes.
And for me, for probably 2 decades, I claimed work or claimed God was my priority, but really work was. And
Mhm.
just in the last 5 to 10 years, I'd say is when he actually was the priority. And then work's continued to notch itself down a little bit. Still very important when I'm in it, but
Right.
it can't be my only focus anymore.
And every entrepreneur will have those seasons. As
Yep,
I
totally.
launched the company, I was having to work 48 hours, 4 to 8 hours on the weekend.
Mhm.
But once I jumped into it full time, I got all my evenings and weekends back.
Yeah,
I almost didn't know what to do with myself
yeah.
because my kids are now 19 and 17. So dad's not cool anymore. So, so now what do I do with all this free time? But that's a great problem to have. And those seasons will change. You might have to work in your business until you can hire the right person. But I think once you get to that right level where you can staff your company and you take care of your people and they take care of the customers in the company.
Totally.
And I think you kind of mentioned that as you were talking about sales. So you have sales reps and you've set up the
Mhm.
WhatsApp you were talking about. As a Christian, as
Mhm.
a man of faith, as a person that has a heart of service, how is it okay for me to sell people? How is it okay for me to actually say, hey, this is a great product that you need, or I'm a great coach, you need me, but you got to pay me? What advice would you have for all of our listeners in that area?
I have a few things. One I would say is what is your worth? What is your value? Do you really believe in yourself? And do you have a great product? It'd be so weird. It'd be cool if iPhone just gave their phones away, but it's valuable. We want this
Right.
thing. It's worth a
That's
thousand
right.
bucks. It would be weird if they're like, oh my gosh, are you okay with spending $10 on this? No, if you're a coach, if you're a leader, what is your value and know what else is out there? There's non-Christians and people that aren't serving as well as they could be, who are charging a ton of money for similar services that you might be starting. And so one, know your
True.
worth and believe in it. And if you don't believe in your worth, well, then maybe look at some other ways to level yourself up and maybe get
Mm,
some of your own coaching. But one, you have to know your worth. Also, your time is valuable, and look at, if you want to be worth
yes.
$100 an hour, well, then you should be charging $100 an hour at least. And of course, look at your competitors and competitive rates. But I think it's really important to know that you are valuable and you are here to serve. As long as you have that heart, that servant heart, know that if you have a great product, then people are going to spend the money anyway on coaching
Yes.
or
That's right.
roofing or electrical or
Right.
a t-shirt or product or service. Might as well be from a kingdom builder like you, who they know you're probably going to be tithing on it. You're probably going to be giving it some of it back. You're going to be using it for good. It's not bad to have a big home and a lot of toys, but if you're doing that instead of tithing, or you're doing that instead of giving to the poor, or you're building up your kingdom, and that's what your main focus is, that's where the issue is. There's nothing wrong with, quote unquote, selling. Selling is just a transfer of enthusiasm, and it's, as a
Mm,
Jesus person, that's what you're doing too. What do you think you're doing when you ask and invite someone to church? You're selling them. What do you think you're doing? You're telling your kids to really eat
wow.
their vegetables or go to bed early. You're selling
Yes.
them. You're just telling them
That's
why
right.
this is beneficial and why they should listen to you. And here's why you have the authority in this and the experience with it. So you should listen to me. And really, if you have the servant heart and you have a great product, you're actually helping them. Me in direct sales in Cutco, we have a great product, and I have to think back. Yeah, I made a ton of money, over 100 grand throughout college, selling the product, but that money's gone. That money's spent. That money's used on college and
Right.
savings, and Honda Civic and all that. But guess what
Yes.
my customers still have in use 20, 30, 40 years later. So they get the better end of the deal. And so when you have a good mentality that way, well then, yeah, you should sell everyone if it's in their best interest. So selling isn't bad. It's just,
Right.
unfortunately, you have some of the the stereotypical used car salesman, or those like get rich quick things where you're taking advantage maybe of people in a like a stereotypical situation. But sales is not bad. It's just building value and transferring enthusiasm.
I love that statement right there. Transfer of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it that way, but that resonates with me. I can see how that passion for your product, you're bought into your product, they're
Yeah.
really buying you. They're buying your story. They're buying because of their trust in you.
Mhm.
You've established yourselves. It really is that enthusiasm. It's not, hey, I didn't have this set of knives. I really need it, right? Because if they need to buy something, they're just going to go to Walmart and buy it.
Yep.
And it's going to be a $10 set and it's going to
Yep.
last 10 weeks. And if they
Yep.
need another one, they'll go. But when it's actually you transferring that enthusiasm, that's really good. That really resonates. I like that. Thanks
I'll
for
also
dropping
say,
that good
Craig,
nugget.
yeah, and I'll also say that if you don't, to you builders out there and you people looking to get into your own business, if you don't believe in your product that much and you don't believe you should charge for it, well, then you need to, your believer is broken. You need to get that
Mm,
fixed because if you're gonna be doing as much as you are in your business and building it, you have to love it and you have to really believe it. If you're in it just to make a quick buck, it's not going to be long lasting. You're not really there to serve.
that's good. My last job in the Navy was actually leading a research and development group,
Mhm.
and it's all focused on facilities. And so since I've left the Navy, since I've retired, I've actually introduced 5 new technologies to that group. But just like you said, it's only technologies that I believe in. It's only
Mhm.
products that I believe in. If
Yeah.
if this product came to me and they said, "Hey, look at this shiny thing, it does great things," and I'm like, but we already have one of those, or no, that's really not a mission for the Navy, it's really not facility related, it really has to do with something else. But when I find one that I'm like, wow, that's going to change how we think of healthy air in a building,
Mhm.
that's something I can get behind. That's
Mhm.
something that I can have enthusiasm and transfer that enthusiasm. So that's great. I love that. So since we're talking about selling and we're talking about mindsets, how about being a Christian,
Mhm.
being a faithful servant, but living in a profit business world? That's a dichotomy. That's a tension that I might have had to myself a couple of years ago as I was creating my
Mhm.
company. Now I see it different. But for those that are walking through that hesitation, that obstacle today, what would you say about balancing a servant's heart in the profit business world?
Yeah, I would say if God's giving you the ability and position to profit a lot. In the Bible, there's lots of examples that if there weren't money going around, it wouldn't have worked. If the Good Samaritan
Mm,
wasn't a business leader who could put a beaten up guy in a hotel and then leave to go, work on some things and
yes.
come back and have that flexibility in his schedule and the income, he wouldn't have been able to serve. If Paul wasn't a tent maker, right, he wouldn't have been able to continue his ministry. He was like, listen, guys, you guys can tithe the church, you can build it and all that, but I'm supplying my own income. So, I'm pulling my own weight as well, right? Jesus was a carpenter. There's lots of examples
Yes.
of things that wouldn't have happened if there wasn't money involved and someone earning money. Now, again, it's all about the focus. Here's what's kind of tough as a Jesus person is it is the focus and the intention. So can you have a really great person who's earning a lot of money and then doesn't do well with it as a Jesus person? Totally. Could you have, a really good Jesus person, right? Earning a lot and giving it back a ton, using it well? Totally. So you can do a lot of good with money. There's a lot of churches that could use some extra money. There are a lot of missionaries
Yes.
who could use
Right.
a lot of money. There are a lot of poor people who could use a lot of money. So when you have extra money to take care of your family first and then give it back, and again, if you can be making a bunch and live in a really nice place and be giving it back and not be having money your idol, that's great.
Yes.
So God has given us all different gifts, and create money is a hard gift that a lot of people don't have. So if you have that, God's put that in your heart, you know how to create money, do it and do it for good. And then maybe don't show off what you're doing with it, but share with others, the charities you are supporting or the donations you're giving. You don't have to
Good.
like share how much you're tithing or, look at me, but it definitely is powerful. And there's so many great people out there who just need some extra money and they can build a kingdom business. They can go out and
Yes.
save a bunch of people in Jesus's name. So money is great as long as you don't have a focus on it as it being your idol and being your only mission is to make money, but it's to give back and it's to serve and it's to help people with a great product or great system. That's totally fine.
So depending on how we release these videos, the audience might have already heard this story, but As I was kicking off this company with my wife, I went to the local cafe, got my breakfast. I come outside, I see a homeless guy. And instantly in my heart, I said, God, why is it okay for me to make more money when this person just needs a little bit? And he instantly in my spirit answered. It wasn't verbal, but it was in my spirit. I know it was him. And he immediately said, Craig, if I give it to you, you won't hold on to it. You're going to circulate it. You're going to help that person and another one. You're going to help your church. You're going to help your neighbor. You're going to host another function at your house.
Right.
And that totally changed how I accept God's increase.
Yeah. It goes back to the talents in the Bible, right?
Yes.
When God gives the 3 guys different amounts of money, and the person that got the least amount and buried it, he said, you worthless, evil person, which is, I think, pretty drastic, but it's like he wants us to use what he's given us. And then when he can trust us with it, then we typically are blessed with more. It's not a, hey, do this so you can be blessed. However, it typically goes, if God trusts you something, you do well with it, he gives you more. And I would also say to what you said, Craig, like when it comes to some of those people, there's also just reality of life. And I feel like, if you've made the choices in life to get you to where you can earn money and you're in that position, go for it. And some people just quite honestly haven't made the right choices or had the right experiences to put them in a position for that. And maybe you can teach them as you learn in your business, but it is something to, there's the blessings of God and the mercy and grace of God. There's also just the reality of life. What choices are we making? And how can we just do our best to serve him and make choices that glorify him and that allow us to really build?
You remind me of an old story. So I don't know if this is true or not. I grew up in the country of Indiana. I've got family in Kentucky. So, a lot of country upbringing. But there was a story about an old pastor that he got up in the middle of a service, church on Sunday, and there'd been a lot of complaining about how everybody thought so differently. Like, why does everybody have different opinions, about what broom they're going to buy, what color rug, whatever the complaints were, is why does everybody think so differently? So he got up on the pulpit, threw his hand down on the pulpit and said, you know what? I'm glad everybody thinks differently, because if they didn't, they'd all want to marry my wife. She's my wife.
Yeah. We're all different.
But it's just a story. Probably did happen, but just a silly story to say we all think differently, right? So we have those different experiences, different talents, different levels of faith, and that's okay. God made us the way we are, and we need to take it and run with it and step out in faith. I love this. So I believe that you wanted to talk a little bit about a link that we're going to drop to all of our listeners. What would you like to share with all of our audience?
Yeah, well, I would like to. Well, so the link, I want to expand a little bit on it, if that's okay. But it's Wake Up Jesus People.
Yes.
And Wake Up Jesus People. If you so choose to go there, I have a book called Wake Up Jesus People: Life-Giving Disciplines to Awaken the Warrior Within. I have a Wake Up Jesus People journal to go with it, and I also have a 40 Forge challenge to go with it as well. I don't know if there's enough time to go through, all that stuff, but what I would like to kind of not wrap up with, but share with that link is that, so in the book, I talk about having a sacred start. And if you're going to lead, if you're about to take on this venture of opening up a business or leading people, you have to lead yourself first.
Yes.
And so you can't, if you want anything you want your people to do, they're going to be 2 or 3 numbers below you. Where if you're a level 8 person, well, you're going to be leading, you're going to have the capacity to lead level 5, 6, 7 levels of people. They're all great souls, right? But in capacity and ability. So if you can be a level 10 person in your faith, in your health, in your family, in your leadership, in your communication, guess what? You're going to have a bunch of rock stars that want to follow you and that want to learn from you. And so usually people leave a company, not always because they don't like it. It's because they felt like they've learned enough and they felt like they've already capped out. If you are a leader that is always learning and growing, and you're a leader that's leading yourself, people are going to crave to follow you. They're going to want to learn from you and to respect you. And so something I really say is to do a sacred start, because if it's going to be crazy for you and you're about to start a new business, a lot of stress, a lot of hours, a lot of busyness, you need that time in the beginning of your day to get right. And this sacred moment, this holy moment that's set apart from the busyness of the day and the family. It could be 30 minutes. It could be 2 hours, but it includes 5 things. So it includes reading the Bible every morning. It
Yes.
includes prayer every morning. It
Good.
includes journaling every morning. It includes affirmations from scripture every morning, and includes exercise.
Very good.
So if you're doing those 5 things every day, you're getting yourself right, you've already won. Like for me, I wake up
Yes.
around 5 a.m. I get those 2 hours in. By 7 a.m., I've won. I'm good for the day. I'm centered. I have my time with Jesus. I have my time with me. So when my boys wake up by 7:15, and chaos starts happening, and then I'm responding to the rest of the day.
Right.
I've already set myself up to win because I filled myself up. I'm not thinking, oh, I got to read the Bible later. Oh, yeah, that's right, I should pray more. Oh, I feel kind of a little lazy and a little out of shape. I need to work out later. It's done right away. It actually happens, and it sets the tone for your whole day. And if you're going to be a leader and bring all that responsibility on you, you need something to ground you and center you. And that's where weekly it would be that Sabbath, and then in the morning it'd be having a sacred start.
The picture that comes to my mind is we can't fill up someone else's cup if ours is empty.
Yep, exactly.
And you do it right off the bat, early in the morning, once for the week, once for the day, and you're good.
Yeah. I like to say God is the faucet. He's the one who fills you up in the morning and gives everyone else the overflow, right? Your spouse and your kids, and then your workers. It's important to fill yourself up.
The other picture that comes to my mind is the fact that I'm an engineer and an introvert. So my cup empties very quickly when I'm in a group setting.
Yes.
That's so good. That's great. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. We will make sure when we introduce this interview that we will have that link put into the information. That way everybody can get it. As we close out, are there any other pieces of advice or wisdom nuggets you'd like to share with all of our brothers and sisters that are listening?
Yeah, I would say there are so many verses in the Bible of being courageous, believing in God, not giving up, and great things are going to happen. So if you think of all the crazy moments of faith in the Bible, and you think of all the moments where God stepped in and God showed up, and that's in life or death situations, you can make a few calls. You can start that business. You can go in and pitch that big company on your product. And so with God, again, anything is possible, but is he with you? Are you having the relationship? Are you starting your day with him? Are you just believing in that through whether it's worship music or affirmations from scripture, just remind yourself that you can do it. Everyone's nervous at some point. Everyone's new at some point. And so if it's a fail, well, then you learned. It's not really a failure. Right. So again, you're listening to this for a reason. You want to start this business is for a reason. And if you've got at the center, it's game time. Let's rise up together as Jesus people and business leaders and change the world.
Yes. Wake up, Jesus people.
Yep.
I love it. Love your heart. Love your service. We pray that you and Abby and the kids settle in well in Washington, that the church launches well. And we just thank you so very much for this time today. God bless you. Thanks so much, Jason. And for all those out there listening, make sure you listen to Jason again, because those are some good nuggets there. And we'll see you at the next interview. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Craig.